Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. Mike Kruizinga here, your host. Time to do a little foundation talk with our good friends over at Perma Pier Foundation Repair of Texas. Their website, permapier.com. We got Jared Benson here in the studio. How we doing, Jared?
Doing great, Mike. Glad to be back.
Good to see you. So what's going on these days over at Perma Pier?
Well, you know, I've actually got a special guest with me today. Philip Sears is a really integral part of my team, and he's been working on a project for a while that a lot of realtors have really asked for. I've had multiple agents ask for this. They've probably asked him for something similar. And I realized, you know, this is something that not just agents could use, but that consumers, homeowners, home buyers, sellers, whatever, they could use this as well, because as we know, foundation repairs are so common, especially when buying or sell a home, especially if you're working with FHA, VA, or really bad problems with conventional maybe.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do when they come across a home with foundation issues. They don't have a checklist. They don't know the most important things to check on, secure, verify. And so that's a project Philip has really worked on, spent a lot of time on recently. So I wanted to bring him in studio and let him talk about that. So everybody, Philip Sears is here to share some knowledge.
All right, Philip, how we doing?
Hello, I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me today.
Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
So so tell me about this program then.
Yeah, it really just came about through the normal course of doing real estate jobs for people who need foundation repair, and we're trying to be a resource for agents and homeowners, as Jared mentioned, because it can be a frustrating process to have to go through. People may not know exactly where to start in terms of what's the first move if there's a transaction, and foundation issues are a part of that.
Sure.
So just kind of address the common problems that we see and the questions that we see from agents all the time, and kind of help point people in the right direction.
Yeah, and look, folks, and I say this all the time, here in Dallas-Fort Worth area in particular, look, we're about 7 million strong nearly, but real estate agent-wise, we got about 15,000 real estate agents, and here's the thing, new real estate agents come on the scene all the time, and they're leaving the scene all the time because the failure rate, honestly, folks, of real estate agents is extremely high. It's a good 80 to 85% after the first year. Out of the 15% that make it past their first year, it's steadily higher as you move on. It's kind of once you make it past 3, 4, 5 years, you're probably going to be in, but not necessarily, because you may not have hit a bubble yet. You may not have hit a change in the market yet. You may not have hit a change where all of a sudden the market changes and you don't know how to stay competitive, to continue to get real estate. Maybe your referrals dry up, this, that, and the other. And so things change with agents all the time. And so the point is, with new agents coming in all the time, this is great because so many agents, they need tools like this.
Sure.
And with foundation repair and foundation discussions being such a big part of Texas in general, and if you're buying a house, these agents need to know it. So this is a great tool for them.
Sure. First-time home buyers especially.
Yeah. And how to navigate it as a seller.
Exactly. As you mentioned, new agents or people who are possibly relocating to this area from out of town. We got lots of transplants with the Toyota plant coming in, and just lots of population growth in general. And the soil conditions that we deal with here in North Texas are pretty unique. There's only about 3 or 4 other places in the entire country that have the same type of soil that we have here, and they present some very specific challenges. The metaphor that I like to use is that the soils of North Texas it's pretty much like building your house on top of a sponge, because that's the way the soil acts. When the weather's wet, it absorbs that moisture and expands, and when the weather dries up, it loses that moisture and contracts. And all that movement caused by that expansion and contraction is a reason why we have so many foundation problems, and it's such a common thing here in DFW. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's why we experience, those windows that sort of don't open at one time of the season, or the doors that stick in one time of the season, and it's just some precursors potentially to some major issues. And so if you're experiencing those types of things, or have, and it's getting worse, obviously you need to get with Perma Pier and see what they can do to take care of you.
Yeah, and it can be hard to know what's normal settlement and what's an actual foundation problem, which is why it's such a good idea, especially let's say, for example, you're a home buyer in the option period, you definitely want to, make sure that at the end of that transaction, you're buying a home that has a foundation that's in good order, or you at least know what the foundation is doing if there is a problem. So we're just trying to be a resource, especially to new home buyers, as I mentioned, but really to anybody who's thinking about buying or selling a house. These soil conditions are, kind of just a fact of life here in North Texas. So if you have any questions and you think you might have a foundation issue, please, reach out and give us a call. We do no-cost inspections, so we'll come and give you that expert opinion about whether or not we'd recommend doing repairs at that property. And if a repair does need to be done, we'll provide you with a detailed repair plan and let you know exactly what we would do to repair that house.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love about you guys too is that, you guys pride yourselves in putting back the property the way you guys found it. You guys make very, you take very special care in, like, look, we're coming into your house and we're coming into your yard, and we're going to kind of maybe get into your neighbor's yard a little bit, potentially. And so we want to, just be respectful of the property, because people have landscaping they work very hard on, and, taking care of it, and not just coming in and trashing the whole place and then, all right, we'll see you. And you guys actually really take care of and respect the property and make sure it's, back to the way it was when you leave.
Absolutely. And we take every effort to, if there's a bush that you are very fond of, we're going to try and save that bush. And it is an ordeal. To have somebody come in, tear up your yard, do foundation repair, it can be very invasive. So you're absolutely right. We make every effort to just try and take care of the homeowner from beginning to end and not do anything too invasive that we don't have to do. Occasionally we'll have to rip up flooring and do an interior, what's called an interior breakout in the house.
Right.
But we're going to make every effort to not do that if we can help it. So an alternative to that would be potentially tunneling under the house to do that pier placement rather than having to break through the nice wood flooring you might have.
Exactly.
And then, people just hate when that gets torn up.
Yeah, well, and that's actually a great point, and that's probably, we can probably talk a whole nother segment just on that point, because a lot of foundation companies will come in and, not look at alternative options, and sometimes there are not alternative options as far as the work that needs to be done on that particular property. Maybe you're going to have to go interior, but there are other options, like you say, tunneling, for example, in the right scenarios for sure. And you guys will look at those and make sure you put the right plan forth to take care of everybody.
Sure, and it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach that we take, because there's different soil types, and the conditions of those soil types can make one type of repair method a better option than another type. So it's definitely a very specific to your problem approach that needs to be taken as far as addressing those foundation problems and really taking care of the customer. And first and foremost in that is just listening to them and hearing them out as far as what their concerns are. So we take every effort to do that.
Absolutely. Well, folks, hey, we've been talking to Philip and Jared over at Perma Pier Foundation Repair of Texas. By the way, they take care of foundation repair all over the state of Texas. So if you're listening in our outskirts of our listening area, way out in the boonies, hey, they take care of all of Texas. We can take care of you as well. So go to their website, permapier.com, permapier.com. You can connect with Philip and Jared there on the website, or any of the staff there at Perma Pier. They can take care of you, but make sure you mention that you heard it on the radio. And folks, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you in a few.